In the wrestling world, the people are represented by two separate but unequally important groups. The wrestlers and bookers, who literally do all the hard work, and the fans, who endlessly nitpick and overanalyze everything they do. These are their stories.
Hey! It's Warhorse, and you need to shut your mouth, open your eyes, and clean out your ears, because it's time to listen to the Raw and Order podcast. That's right, they're bringing you the best in all that meaty podcasty goodness in one, what is it, an hour? Two? Who cares? Who gives a shit? You need to listen to it right now, or else Warhorse is gonna, roll your ass!
Welcome to another episode of Raw and Order, the Wrestling Booking Unit, the only wrestling podcast on the planet that goes live on Monday to review the show on Sunday that he live reacted to on Sunday, and could have maybe done this on Sunday, but we would have been one person short, and I was tired. I needed sleepy time. I am your host, Detective Mark Smarks, and I'm joined, as always, by my partners in crime fighting. Starting off, District Attorney Vincent Kayfabe. What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm prepared. I'm ready to endlessly nitpick. Yeah.
And overanalyze. Gotta do both. It's not either or.
Can we leave the overanalyzing to the other guy?
Nope. Gotta do them both.
I mean, he definitely switches back and forth a lot. There's a lot of analytical.
So sometimes he do. The other guy we're talking about is JLB. He's here.
Hey,
he's here. He's not dead.
Hey. I'm not dead. No, definitely not dead.
Which is why we're early.
Yeah.
To make sure he'd be here.
Exactly. Fair enough. What a show. I mean, it lasted how an AEW show would last, minus one match, mind you. So maybe it was a bit shorter than their usual AEW pay-per-views. But yeah, we're going to break it down, overanalyze, and nitpick the shit out of the show, or at least I know I am.
Yes.
So it's going to be a good time.
Just so everybody knows, because we're going early and because I like to DVR things, everything, if you notice me looking off here to my left every once in a while, it's because I have Raw playing on the TV over here, and I'm behind because I haven't caught up yet. And so, you people in the chat, don't spoil things for me.
Doesn't matter. Are you already at the KO match?
No. Right now, I'm at the Dom versus
Sami Zayn match, rather.
Listen,
no, I'm at the Dom versus Tozawa match.
Ugh.
I didn't think I'd be here in person, and I am tonight. I have not watched any wrestling because my girlfriend's parents are here.
Oh yeah.
And not my girlfriend. She's gone.
That's
very quiet, so they don't know how nerdy you are.
No, I think they figured it out.
They figured it out. They already know.
But yeah, so we are going to go down. Now, if you are new, oh, by the way, Big JC had a whatever party going on in the chats. Those are some emotes that you get for subscribing.
He's very whatever-y.
Whatever.
There's one of those backwards?
Well, yeah.
Like a mirror?
Yep. They go forward, backwards, or in your case, backwards, forward, backwards, forward, backwards, forward. I don't know why. Here was the first one, and it was backwards. So. Whoa.
Cool.
Well, co-host just subscribed for 6 months in a row.
Yes.
So
was not here in person all the time, but I was certainly making sure I kept my subscriptions going.
Yes.
Well,
we appreciate that. If you're new to watching our particular brand of review show on pro wrestling pay-per-views or PLEs, if you're talking a WWE thing, because there's stupid for everything. Anyways, then we'll go over it real quickly. We don't do like the other shows where they talk about it match by match and here's what happened and here's what we liked or about it, and this is the really cool thing. What we do is we go through the bad and then we go through the good. And so you're going to know by the end of this what things that we didn't like and then what things we really did like. So if you haven't watched the pay-per-view yet and you're thinking about watching it, you can use this as kind of a guide of what things to maybe skip, where to use your bathroom breaks or your DVR fast forward button, and what parts you want to maybe rewind and watch again, or be sure pause, run to the bathroom before they start. So we're gonna get right into it. We're of course are reviewing AEW's Forbidden Door 2023, their crossover with New Japan Pro that now has become a yearly tradition.
I don't know if I'd say tradition. A yearly occurrence.
I say, I'll agree with you that it might not be a tradition yet, because my rule is once is something happening, twice could be coincidence, 3 times makes it a tradition.
That's fair.
And this is just 2 times, so it might not be a tradition yet. But I think they're planning on it.
I think it will be a tradition. Yes, I would agree with that. It's like you can't have a first annual.
Yes, you can have a second annual because the first one, and now this is the second one.
First one would be just inaugural.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's all it is.
So get those. So just to go down the card really quickly. Keep in mind, we only really talk about the actual show ones. This show had 4 matches on the kickoff show that we're not really going to talk about. Typically, kickoff show matches aren't really worth caring too much about anyways. The longest of the kickoff show matches.
Did you watch that Stu Grayson match? Said
that
nobody
Stu
ever.
Grayson, yeah. You know, the Stu Grayson match versus El Phantasmo was really good, but it also was El Phantasmo, who is...
And also, nobody ever has said, did you watch that Stu Grayson match? Ever.
I hesitate to say that because we've got a Canadian in
well, I mean, I don't mind Stu Grayson. It was cool to at least see him. But the fact is, he's a lot on ROH now. So it was cool to kind of see what he was doing in ROH with the Dark Order and the Righteousness, I think.
I mean, here's the deal. Is Jeff Cobb wrestled on the kickoff show, and I love me some Jeff Cobb. TJP was in that match.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
Yeah. Good old Theo.
Yeah, and Athena.
You had Swerve, you had Athena. In fact, I will say this, just to cut nut and chase. Athena versus Billy Starks was a good match.
Yeah.
The kickoff show is free on YouTube. Watch at least that match. You can watch them all or have them on in the background while you're doing stuff. We're just not going to really review those matches. That leaves us with 1, 2, 3,
9.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 matches on the main card.
9 options on these categories.
So we're going to go through. We're going to start off with the bad, which, there will be some bads here, but this was overall a pretty good pay-per-view. I don't
think this will get best pay-per-view of the year.
I think we're going to be more critical of it than other reviewers are. Because we're doing this a day later than most, I think we've had a little bit of time to let it sit before we do this review a bit. A lot of the other reviewers were giving this absolute glowing marks. I think we're going to be a little more critical.
I don't think it's the best AEW pay-per-view of the year so far.
It may or may not be. The other reviewers would say that they think it was, but I think overall we're just going to be a little more critical just in general. We even mentioned last night on the live stream that there were a couple matches, one specific that I think really under-delivered on what it should have been. So,
Okada.
That wasn't the one that we were specifically talking about.
That was one of them, though.
But you could argue that. I have a theory on it. That may be hurt by events, but we'll talk about it when we get to talking about that match eventually. The one that we were talking about specifically, I think both of us were a little disappointed in the MJF versus Tanahashi match.
Yeah, I thought that was worse than even the CM Punk one. Mm-hmm. And I'm not in love with CM Punk right now, like a lot of people are. So
I've said before, I think wrestling is better with CM Punk in it, but again, I just think
I need my apology. Damn it.
I'm less worried about my apology. I want either them to turn it into a program between him and the Elite, and squash this beef that way.
Let me rephrase it. I need my humbled CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what I'm telling guys. I don't think there was ever a humbled CM Punk, to be frank with you. I think that cocky, egotistical prick CM Punk was always
for the
there.
fans to see him go. I'm going to own my part. He doesn't have to own the whole thing.
I know, he'll own his part. He's already said he's owned his part, but then, there's always a but after it. So I don't think he's ever been really...
He said, I handled it poorly, but...
Yeah.
Hangman Page is a stupid little bitch who hit me hard and hurt my feelings.
If there's a but, if there's an excuse in your apology, it's not an apology.
Yeah. I mean, that's what he said. He's like, I handled it poorly. But at the same point, in my match with Hangman Page, he hit me really hard, and I thought he was giving me a receipt, and so that hurt my feelings. Listen,
I wasn't sure what to do. Like, is this a shoot? Do I shoot on him now? Like,
how about you just be a professional and do your match, and then afterwards you go up to him and you say, "Hey, man,
bitch at him.
Were you legitimately hitting me hard? Because we can go out into the parking lot and finish this, or were you just putting on a match? Is that just the way you wrestle? Are you just one of those wrestlers who hits hard? Because we've talked about it on this show.
Are you Minoru Suzuki?
Yeah. We've talked about this before. Who was it that was being made fun of? I think it was Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara.
And Miro. Yeah.
And Miro. That was part of their beef, is that Sammy Guevara said Miro hit him too hard. And, I said it at the time. Listen, your job as a performer is to protect your opponent, right? And so, if your opponent feels you're hitting you too hard, they should let you know in ways that are appropriate for the match. They communicate during the match, so communicate it, man. And you, as a performer, should be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't hit him so hard. The problem is, with these fucking testosterone-charged crybabies, often... They're like, oh, he says I'm hitting him so hard. I'm going to hit him harder. Or, oh, he hit me hard. I'm going to hit him in return. And that doesn't serve anyone. And that's kind of apparently what happened with the CM Punk. Is CM Punk felt like Hangman was hitting him too hard. But instead of like confronting him like a real person and saying, hey, man, what the fuck? He just bottled it up and let it all out in the press later on. And again, that's where he needs an apology. He like, I understand, Punk. You felt like he was hitting you hard, and maybe he was giving you receipts and all of that stuff. But again, that was a fucking year ago, man.
Yeah, let it go.
Let it go.
And is that the reason for all the others?
Yeah.
Well, it's just lack of communication. That's all it is, because they never spoke to each other in regards to the beef. They just let the rumor reel go, whether the Young Bucks or the Elite dished out stuff to the reporters or whatnot. But that rumor was there. It never got properly squashed and communicated.
It never got squashed. Although, I will point out that every reporter has gone on the record saying that the Elite were not their source. Every one of them.
I mean, at the same time, every reporter is going to say that if it is their source, because they wouldn't reveal their sources anyways.
True.
But again, at some point, you just have to believe what people are saying.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
CM Punk doesn't.
But so anyways.
So let's get on.
I think wrestling is better with CM Punk in it if he just puts on his fucking big boy pants. And again, I think the Elite need to do it too. I think Hangman Page and Matt and Nick Jackson and Kenny Omega need to put on their big boy pants, call up their lawyers and say, hey, let's set up a time for all of us to sit down in a room together and talk this through. Right?
Also, side note, wrestling is not only better with CM Punk, but Leslie is better with Ed in it.
Nope. Nope. I've known Leslie's that I have a cousin who's a Leslie, and she's a wonderful person with no Ed in her at all.
Wait, like educate.
But
I don't know where we're going with
anyway,
that. Let's move on.
So we are going to start off with, since we were really kind of talking about it, worst match of the night.
I mentioned Ed Leslie. There you go.
Yeah.
See? Always the worst
Always
match
the
of
worst
night back in the day.
Always. Worst match of the night.
We
I
are
said it before.
limiting ourselves here, right? We are limiting to the main event.
Main
to
event.
The main card. Main card.
Yep. And the main card, I think we said it before. I really do feel that MJF match was probably the worst match of the night for me.
If you're giving a particular moment, I give it to a different match. If you're giving it to the overall match, unfortunately, we are now telling a residual storyline over and over and over with MJF in that cheat to win. I'd like to see him win to win at some point.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to see him win, or I don't know, cheat in a new way.
Yeah.
Right. Show that you don't always pull out the dynamite diamond ring and hit someone with it, and then hide it again in your pants and get away with it. Right.
Maybe cheat and not win off of that cheat.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There is value to the occasional disqualification, and the champion keeps the belt.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what he was doing, right? With the whole holding on to the ropes. 1, 2, 3.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do, Ref?
What are you gonna do? DQ me? At one point, he grabbed the belt and he was gonna walk out of there with it. I gotta be honest. I've always liked the champion just takes the loss and leaves.
Legit walk out
as a storyline. Just walk out.
Has that actually ever happened? I feel like there was never really a walkout.
It happened a few times in WCW. Where the champ just deuced out and said, or the champ would like purposefully get himself DQ'd.
Okay.
Right. Heck, I think half of Jeff Jarrett's successful title defenses came at an El Kabong DQ. So yeah. So MJF versus Tanahashi is my worst match of the night.
I would give it to you. I would. We'd already talked about that, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. It's definitely gonna be a hot take. Let me just make sure. Yeah, no, unfortunately, I'm gonna no. Okay, I was gonna do a hot take and say Okada and Daniel Bryan, but it wasn't the worst match of the night. It was
the most disappointing match of the night.
Most disappointing match of the night, maybe overhype of the night, unfortunately. But I will probably give it to Tony Storm and Willow Nightingale, just because I don't remember a whole lot from that match.
Comes back again. Welcome back, you sexist.
Yep. That's what it is. No, I really love Willow Nightingale. I think she's awesome. It's just I don't know. I guess I knew what I was expecting with the MJF, and I just love his buffoonery. So I'm gonna go. And the other matches I wouldn't dare to put on worst match of the night. So I'm gonna go with Willow and Storm.
I cheat better than you, and you know it.
I didn't hate that match. I thought it was fine.
I didn't necessarily hate it. I just found it forgettable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to get a lot of categories, though. I think it's going to miss on tons of categories. So the fact that it got mentioned here might be its only time getting mentioned.
Yep. So we will move on to most predictable moment.
Is it MJF cheating?
Could be. That it legitimately could be.
Let me look back through the card. Boy, I really do think it's MJF cheating.
I honestly think it would have either been CM Punk winning or CM Punk or MJF winning, or no, sorry, CM Punk or Orange Cassidy keeping the belt.
I don't necessarily think. Oh, by the way, Doctor Strangehair just got to 9 months. We mentioned that last week.
Ooh.
Whoop, whoop.
Um,
Nice.
That he
9
was probably
months.
getting close to there. So,
Wow.
congrats.
Oh, JLBTLC's on a 2-month streak currently. Total of 6 months.
Whoop, whoop.
God, he missed one somewhere.
I know,
That's
right?
it. I don't
Forget
know. My thing says just subscribe for 6 months in a row.
Well,
I don't know. Who knows?
tells me otherwise. I'm
no.
sneaky. Very, very sneaky. Anyway, moving forward. Yeah, so my predictable one is MJF cheated. What? 0 titles changing hands. That could be predictable.
That's not true.
Yeah,
Osprey won.
Osprey.
Oh, that's right. And IGWP. Okay. Sorry. 0 AEW titles changing hands.
Yeah, I don't think Orange Cassidy winning to me was that predictable because they've been telling this story over.
Oh, it was
and over
an
again.
amazing match, though.
It was a
God,
great
I got
match,
worn out.
but they've been telling the story of him just getting more and more worn out and just barely eking out a victory and just barely, and like even with this one,
I thought most of the way through this that Zack Sabre Jr. was going to get it.
I thought
Like, oh, he
Zack
must
Sabre
sign a
Jr.
contract.
was a potential. I thought this could have been the perfect time for like Daniel Garcia to sneak out the victory, and he had the Pure title, the Ring of Honor Pure title. But he was the only one in this match who didn't come in with some sort of title on him. Zack Sabre Jr. had the NJPW's television title. Shibata has the Pure title. Orange Cassidy, of course, had the international title.
And Shibata won that from who was he?
From Daniel Garcia.
From Daniel
Garcia?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And that's part of that was the hook in this thing is Daniel Garcia said, I think I want my title back. And that's kind of where this match came around, putting them all together. Anyways. I really didn't think Orange Cassidy was gonna win. I don't think it was a lock. I thought there was a chance he was gonna win. I was pulling for him to win. I even said at the start of the live stream reaction that last pay-per-view I thought he was gonna lose, and he still won. So this time I'm pulling for my boy. I'm siding with my boy. But there were many times in this I said, is this finally the one where he just is so.
So was that the most predictable moment?
I don't know. For me, Don Callis cheating,
Coming back
I don't know.
on top. Yeah, me and CM Punk winning then.
The coming back is going to come to one of my other worsts because that's not predictable because you're supposed to get fucking thrown out or DQ'd if you come back. Right. There's supposed to be a punishment for it. But anyways.
Well, and he was trying to throw him out. And that's when he handed him a screwdriver.
But that was like 5 minutes later.
Yeah, I know, and that's it. And it was such a pause because he couldn't get the screwdriver out. So the ref was just staying there like...
He's just holding him with the one hand. Making Callis look like a just mad beast who can hold Bryce.
Look at me.
Stay here and look away. Remsburg, stay there.
Yeah. I don't know. Most predictable moment. Matt and Nick Jackson doing a super kick party.
Yeah, no, that's right.
I'm sorry, I was just distracted because Becky Lynch has her belly out, and
yeah, I feel like she keeps getting skinnier. I know she's probably the same kind of
I
skinny.
said this 3 weeks ago, didn't I?
Mm-hmm. She. There was a point after she came back from the baby that she was almost scary skinny.
Yeah.
And so I think she's gotten less skinny, but she's definitely proud of her midsection now.
Yeah,
and I don't blame her.
I too am.
No, she looks good.
She looks really, really good.
I will honor it.
She looks really, really good.
I will honor it. Perhaps even worship.
We will move on to overhype of the night, and I think there's at least a two-way tie.
This is Okada and Daniel Bryan.
That could be it there.
This is Okada in general, in my opinion. I think he's not the man he was before, but I
think they were telling a longer story, and I think they were planning for a rematch. Now, Bryan Danielson's broken arm may get in the way of a rematch anytime soon. But New Japan likes to tell stories in threes. And at the very least likes to have a 50-50 with their big stars, right? So I think they were planning on this be a slow burn match, and then a second match be more fire
over the top.
You know,
a Rainmaker actually connects.
Yeah.
I don't even like the Rainmaker. So.
Well, and the thing with the Rainmaker not connecting is the Rainmaker is Kazuchika Okada's one-winged angel. It's the thing, if he connects on it, people don't kick out. Right? So if he hits it, the match is over.
It's just...
So every time he goes for it, if someone ducks, that's what keeps the match going.
I don't know why it doesn't sell as well as it did in 2018. And maybe it's because I've never seen it before and it looked better. But again, the last 3-4 times I've seen him, it just...
I think in 2018, you didn't have Brian Cage on your TV weekly doing the drill claw, which is... looks like a delayed vertical suplex into pile driver.
And
Hangman Page also doing constant clotheslines, all kinds.
Well, the buckshot
lariat, you know,
which doesn't entirely sell me, but it's more sellable than the Rainmaker.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So,
because Kazuchika Okada was the one who faced Jericho, right, in 2018. That was the whole.
Was it 18? He was still. In 18, he was still. What's up, Squash?
Squash, Squash.
In 18, he was still in the middle of the feud with Omega. He did Jericho on the Jericho Cruise.
Oh, okay.
No, that wouldn't be right.
Because he did it at Wrestle. Not Wrestle.
It would have been 18 because that's when Jericho came out with his Joker gimmick.
Right.
It's Painmaker, which we will see on Wednesday.
Ooh. Yay.
I might want to change. No. Maybe to the JS match, to the worst match. It was kind of weird considering Sting almost got killed on top of
that one. That one was definitively the underwhelming event of the night. The close was just garbage. Yeah. And obviously it looked like they had to run to the finish because I think Darby was actually injured on his Cannonball Suicida.
Yeah, that was the one that had. I thought the match itself was good. It just it had a weird finish.
The finish was just,
and whether like you said, whether it was rushed to, which is a distinct possibility, or whether it was messed up because the only two people who on one side who were vaguely conscious were Naito and Sting, and they're like, just let's finish this.
I mean, Naito missed the pin and kind of stuck in place, but sat on Minoru Suzuki's face.
Mm-hmm.
It was just very...
I mean, it legitimately could have been Suzuki was supposed to kick out, and he legitimately got his face squashed and was like, I can't remember to kick out. No, it had an unsatisfying.
Yes, that's exactly what it. Yep.
So that's where
you got to move your mic, bud.
Hello.
There we go.
It shouldn't have been that bad. It was, anyways. The match prior to it was fun. It might have been that the software was limiting it because I got loud for a second.
Oh yeah, could be.
Because it hadn't moved. It was the same place it was 30 seconds earlier. Anyways.
Sorry, bud.
But it something, the match up to there was fine. It wasn't match of the night, because it was a cool off match after what
The match of the night most likely is. Yeah.
Match of the year.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Match of the century.
I think the Wrestle Kingdom match is better.
There's an argument both ways.
That is a tough argument.
The Wrestle Kingdom match was very purposefully designed as more of a technical storyline slow burn match, and that's part of what plays into this Okada argument here. There is Ospreay versus Omega's first match was more technical, more clinical sort of a thing. Didn't have as much blood, didn't have as many of the big over the top moves, all of that stuff. And then this match came along and it was a barn burner. And I could totally see them having a plan for Okada Danielson 2 to be, now Okada's got a fire lit under him. And he's got to prove that he is the guy that he said he was. And to do that, that requires pulling out all the stops and being the Rainmaker again. The proverbial tale of I got too complacent at the top. Now I would love, I said this last night, I would love if we got to see Sad Okada again. And if you're unfamiliar with what I mean when I say Sad Okada, for a while, Kazuchika Okada, after he'd lost a match, he was so distraught that he'd lost the match that the Rainmaker gimmick went away, and he just would come out to the ring with a single red balloon and just kind of walk to the ring sad like. Just a sad balloon. It has a smiley face and dollar signs drawn on it, but he didn't get the rain of dollar bills and coins and gold confetti and stuff like that. He was Sad Okada, and I would like if they told that story, again. Him coming out all sad. Didn't, I'm not the man I used to be. Anyways.
I'd be for it, then I might be entertained by Okada. Sorry, he's not the man he used to be.
I think you are just a naysayer. You're just a hater.
Jealous. I was like, well, yeah, I mean, he's...
Well, I think this match was... I don't know if it's because our expectations were supposed to be higher or were too high. But, I mean, they built this match like it was, that dream match. And I don't know. They overhyped it for me. I know Brian got injured. Things could have happened. It was
I understand the overhype. I can see it. I'm not arguing with it. I feel like there's a greater plan. I feel like that this match was almost planned to be a little bit underwhelming. So now Bryan Danielson can be was supposed to be able to come out of this and show up on Dynamite and be like, I am the greatest wrestler in the world. Did you see the hurrying I put on Kazuchika Okada, and all this stuff. And then Kazuchika Okada can come back with fire and eventually have a match that has more fire. And again, telling this story of he was the guy at the top and he got complacent at the top and he thought he was just better. And because of that, he didn't treat Danielson as a serious contender and took him too lightly. And that's why he lost.
Brian got injured with the elbow drop he mentioned?
The elbow drop, yep. Okay. If you watch a clip, Bryan Danielson had his arm, instead of tight against his body, it was out like 6 to 10 inches from his body on the ground there, and Kazuchika Okada just landed right on it.
Oh, okay.
And Danielson said it's 100% his fault. I didn't have my arm in a safe position. Because you'll notice when people, when you watch a wrestling match, when people are getting ready for someone to do a top rope move. They pull their arms in like this, straight to the side of their body, and they hold them in. And usually, you can even see them kind of tense up their whole body to be prepared for this 250-pound man to land on it. You know, and he wasn't.
Is that at the moment where he ended up doing a submission, or did he actually land it?
He landed it. He landed it and tried to get a pin, and kicked out.
So wait, Danielson's arm was broken that long?
Yeah, like 17 minutes of the match.
Jesus.
He wrestled with a broken. It's a fracture, not a full break.
Still, right? New respect
but
for Danielson.
Yeah, but it's still. Which also, I think, you could argue plays into whether this match was.
Fair enough. Still, based on what we got, it was overhyped.
Because, like, if you watch the rest of the match, Bryan Danielson didn't lift his right arm at all. Like, when he did the yes chant, it was only his left hand. His right arm was basically just hanging limp by his side. He just almost did nothing with it the rest of the match.
Speaking of limp, what's your overhype of the night, sir?
Me?
I mean, we both gave ours, and you've been telling us why it was wrong the whole time. So
I didn't say it was wrong. I said I totally understand your pick of it.
I was joking, sir.
I would say in terms of overhype, the CM Punk versus Kojima match possibly, because it was CM Punk's first singles match since coming back. He's been back a little over a week.
And maybe that's why Kojima was going a little slow, but I don't think I've ever seen Kojima wrestle. So this might have been the first time I saw Kojima. Yeah. Not a fan. But again, I don't know if he was just going purposely slow for CM Punk because he hasn't wrestled a singles match in God knows how long. But he just looked like a random guy you would find at a bar. You know what I mean?
I think
he looked weird to me.
Kojima represents the history of New Japan.
Okay.
He's been doing it for over 30 years.
30 years, right? Okay.
You know. But I think I said this on the live stream reactions. I feel like this was designed to be a setup. Well, first of all, I feel like it was thrown together last minute because they couldn't get what they wanted to actually happen put together.
GTS versus GTS?
Yes. But they mentioned, first of all, CM Punk's been doing the go to sleep symbol a lot recently. Mm-hmm. He does it before he gets in the ring, before the match even starts. He stands up and does the go to sleep. He does it in the middle of the match and then tries to hit the GTS and fails. You know, he does all this stuff. But on top of that, they mentioned multiple times that Kojima's tag team partner is Kenta. And the fact that they even just mentioned it on there, to me, implies that they still have plans for Kenta to come in. And that this was just kind of a filler match for that.
Yep, that's possible because that's ultimately the moneymaker right there.
That is
right. So,
and I think that's what they really wanted to do, and they couldn't, of course, get it figured out for whatever reason.
Wasn't Kenta the one that wrote like you're not going to be paying me enough?
I think
on Twitter.
I'm 90% certain those answers were kayfabe, right? Okay. That we're building up to this match. I'm 100% certain we're seeing that match at some point. The money is there for it. That's another one of those make fucking money. Just put aside your egos and make money, right? Kenta just keeps saying, I don't care if he's using my move. You just got to pay me to wrestle him. Tony Khan's just not cutting the check. But I just like this match just as a whole. It was 13 minutes. It felt like it was like 5 minutes of actual wrestling. You know,
That's fair.
For them to hype it as his first return singles match, and like, I understand the Bryan Danielson Okada choice. I understand Tony Storm versus Willow Nightingale potentially being someone's choices over hype of the night. I think that's another example of a match that got thrown together because of circumstances. Long story short, Willow Nightingale was never supposed to win the IWGP Women's Championship.
Nope.
Mercedes Money was supposed to.
Because she got hurt, right?
But she got hurt in the match, and she called the audible to have Willow win. Because rather than win and then have to relinquish the title the next day, she said, let's just have Willow win it, and then they can figure out a way out of it at that point. But
excited to see how that skyrocketed Willow's career.
It did.
Early.
It really did. And Willow's phenomenal. No,
I'm not upset about it by any means.
Yeah, it's just to go into a match expecting to lose and midway through it you'd be like, oh, by the way, you're going to be the new champion. Wait, what? Not just the new champion, the first champion. Like, she's in the history books now as the first ever IWGP Women's Champion. And she wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be Mercedes. That also is worth pointing out to Mercedes' credit doing that. She gave up being in the history books
as
the first because she knew
the title.
Yeah, it didn't make sense to do it to protect the, this whole story with, I look over right now and they've got Finn Balor coming out on my Raw. The whole storyline they got going on Raw is Finn Balor saying, I was the first ever Universal Champion, but you cost me that because I had to relinquish it. And so he's in the history books as the first ever Universal Champion, but there's that asterisk beside it that 22 hours later he had to relinquish it because he got injured and he never got it back again. And so I give Mercedes a lot of credit making that audible. Now, I don't know if WWE gives their performers leeway to do that, right?
Right.
They might say, finish the match the best you can. If you can finish the match, finish it. If you have to rush to a finish, and then we'll figure it out afterwards. That, I don't know. That might be their rule there. But for Mercedes to be like, I'm hurt, let's have you win. It takes a lot. Anyways, moving on. Worst performance of the night. Don Callis.
Weak.
Or, I don't know, the ref for not
getting out of Don Callis' death hold.
Or not kicking him out as soon as he came out.
Honestly, that bald ref. They keep using him, and he's always in these moments where... Lance, what?
Bryce Remsburg.
No, I think Bryce Remsburg was the ref in that match, but I think you're talking about Rick Knox.
Rick Knox, that's it.
Yeah, the older
the other bald one. Like, this guy, he's always in the matches where there's the most controversial. The one he was in with the MJF one. Like, why are you looking at the fans? Like, it's kind of cool, and I get maybe why Tony Khan likes him because he adds fan interaction or whatever. But he's just too animated, and he's too garbage at not like realizing that something shady is going on. Like, he's overacts, and it's just so fake to me, at least when I'm watching it on TV. But they constantly use him for it, and I fucking can't stand it. I think he's the worst actor trying to act on like that. He's not seeing something. He over exaggerates. But I don't know. Maybe it's just me because they keep using him for it. But it's just too overacted for me. It's just too much. So, what is it? His name's Mike Knox?
Rick Knox.
Rick Knox, excuse me.
I get that. So I think AEW might need to look into expanding their referee repertoire. They've got Aubrey, they've got Bryce, they got Mike Posey, Paul Turner, Rick Knox, and Stephon Smith. And Stephon Smith, I think, is he's only been with the company a little over a year, it looks like. But now that they've got 3 shows, total of 5 hours of wrestling a week, plus their pay-per-views, plus Ring of Honor, which currently Ring of Honor uses, I believe, most of the same referees.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay.
Let me check to be certain, because I want to make sure I am.
Could you go use the men's room? I'll be right back.
Don't you mean the little boys' room?
I'm a little boy at heart. All right, I'll be back.
Yeah, they don't have a separate listing for.
Probably the same people, but I imagine there's a few ROH refs that he did keep around, because that's way too many shows for 8 refs that you said to do? That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't even think it's 8. It is 6 refs.
6? No way. They're also doing ROH. That's wild. I'll be back.
Well, I mean, in fairness, because Ring of Honor tapes at Collision, after Collision, the referees are already there, and it pre-tapes the matches. All that. I mean, it makes sense, but I think they need to add at least 2 more refs, in my opinion.
Maybe. Or Collision ROH, and then the others are on the other show.
Mm-hmm.
The other 2 shows, sorry.
Yep. Anyways, but so I just, like I said, for me, it just comes down to, you kind of mentioned DQs. They get a bad rep amongst fans because they get overused, right?
Correct. In particular in WWE.
But they're also important to have. Because if you don't have DQs, the threat of a DQ doesn't make any difference, right?
Correct. If nobody's ever being disqualified, then why not hit them with a ring? And again, once you're the champ, why not use the ring?
Yep.
But you can't play that why not use the ring if you don't DQ him every now and then.
Exactly. You've got to get
which means he doesn't eliminate Adam Cole as his opponent. Yep. Or doesn't, well, that guy gets another shot at you because you got disqualified.
Yep.
He beat you.
But so Don Callis comes back out to the ring. The announcers specifically say he better be careful. He's risking his guy, Will Ospreay, getting DQ'd. And then he proceeds to spend the next 6 minutes or so interfering in the match multiple times. He tripped Kenny Omega. He did other things. He talked to Will Ospreay before. He advised Will Ospreay to do the one-winged angel. He did all of this stuff, right? And at no point until the referee tried to grab him away did the referee do anything. And what should have happened, in my opinion, is the referee should have said, I see you. I've ejected you. If you're not out by the time I count to 5, your guy is losing. 1, 2.
Hey, wait, come on, man.
4, and then have him just go running off like a little fucking coward. You could then have him sneak out in a hoodie or some shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he came out the same way.
He came out the same way.
Left.
Or, I don't know, here's my thing. You had those 2 security guards with the fucking Mortal Kombat masks on. Have one of them sneak the screwdriver to Will Ospreay.
No, that's it. I feel like they legit didn't even do anything. I'm like, what is the point of these
stood
security
there.
guards?
Pretending to be banging.
Kenny Omega from
going after Don Callis, but that's it.
Don Callis.
Do you feel in control?
I thought we were going to see like new.
Which one of these
new members of
do
the?
you smell out of?
I thought they were going to be the United Empire kind of thing. The two masked guys, part of the United Empire.
I thought they were 100% were going to do something.
Or do something,
right?
Yeah.
And they did nothing.
They did nothing.
My worst performance of the night is going to be hot take. Minoru Suzuki. I understand the character that is the guy who no-sells everything. I get it. I haven't liked it the whole time, but I get it. And I get that he's a really hard hitter. I understand that too. What I don't understand is the guy who can no-sell everything should not be able to be pinned off of a flop-off from Naito accidentally falling off of his face.
Listen, you take a Naito butt to the face and see if you kick out.
So,
like,
you can find another way to finish it once you've missed the pin.
I don't know what to tell you. How many matches did Naomi win with the hip attack, right? This was just like that, except against the mat. Okay, Carmelo Hayes
Hey, just
Raw.
so you know, Stu Grayson deserves better, said nobody ever.
I tell you, he's a good wrestler. That's why he's back.
Yeah.
Also,
nobody has ever said Stu Grayson deserves better.
Stu is back. Tell a friend.
He deserves to get out of the freaking Dark Order and do something better. Because honestly, the Dark Order hasn't been doing anything for like ever.
I would agree the Dark Order hasn't done anything forever. I think the problem, in my opinion, is that they need to let the Dark Order be dark again.
I've seen some promos cut recently. I literally think they're waiting another 2-3 years to have -1 lead them as a 16-year-old. 15 to 16-year-old.
I've seen that. I understand where you're coming from, but they specifically said -1 does not have a contract until he's 18.
Well,
and so they'd have to wait
through his mom signing. As
they
not a performer, but as a ringleader.
Yeah, that still is technically a performer. On top of that, here's the deal: AEW has shown that they're committed to people graduate before they sign. They signed Nick Wayne to a future contract a year and a half ago and said, you will get your real contract once you've graduated and turn 18. And those are two things that they said have to happen. Graduate, which he did a week ago, or a couple weeks ago, and turn 18, which he just
like this week.
Yeah. You know, and so I would have been not surprised if he had shown up sometime this week because of that. It also, it turns out, might be why Billy Starks does not have a contract yet, because she just turned 18, and they might be like, listen, we want to make sure that you are 100% like not going to college, not doing something else, because we don't want to get in the way of you, you know, bettering your life in some way. I wouldn't be surprised if Billy Starks gets a contract here soon. In fact, I kind of expected after the kickoff show a Billy Starks' All Elite graphic to come out, but it didn't. Anyways, I think what happened was after Brody Lee's death, the Dark Order were forced to be faces. We've talked about this before. There was just too much goodwill towards them and everything. They became faces. And because of that, they fell into this comedic face routine that they've been stuck in ever since. And what needs to happen, I think they're leaning towards it. Because if you watch Being the Elite, their whole thing on Being the Elite is that they feel absolutely lost. All of their friends have abandoned them. Alan's gone. Ten's gone. Not gone, but he's now with Los Ingobernables. Right. La Facion Ingobernables. Anyways, and all of that stuff, that they're lost. And I think what's going to happen is they're going to come back dark at some point, but it has to happen before they're actually going to be considered anything. Because right now they're kind of a joke, and that's why you don't put Stu Grayson, you don't put a returning person that people clamored to get back with the joke faction, right? So what I think needs to happen is the Dark Order needs to, frankly, I feel like they need the Creepers again.
Yes. God, those things give me the heaves.
Yeah,
the Creepers.
The Creepers were the random wrestlers in masks that
they reminded me, the way they moved reminded me of the. You remember the Beastmaster, the things that would wrap around and then would digest their arms turned into a stomach. Anyway, sorry, that's what they reminded me of. Creepy. Fucking.
And so I think get the Creepers, get Evil Uno back to being evil, right? And you don't need to have a full-on leader, but just have them say, listen, we've moved away from Brody Lee's teachings. His teachings were for us to be vicious, for us to be cutthroat, for us to win, and we haven't been doing that. So let's start doing that. Anyways, worst move of the evening. Naito sitting on Minoru Suzuki's face. Okada landing on Bryan Danielson's arm.
I'm probably going to have to go with Sammy Guevara doing the first move on Sting that almost looked like it killed him. The 630 on Sting outside looked okay. It was the one before that looked like that Sting almost got like murdered. I'm trying to find it, but it looked like, I'm like, fuck, is Sting okay? But whatever, he was back on the apron and he was fine. But it just looked completely bad. And then Sammy doing another move outside. I'm like, dude, do you want Sting to die? Like, what is going on here? But whatever, he was fine. He tried to get out of the table, but it was fine.
I'm still convinced. I don't think that table was gimmicked. It had the metal band around the underside of it, and normally that's the first thing they take off in a gimmicked table, because that's there to add structure so that it doesn't pop apart.
Okay.
And so when I saw that, I was like, holy crap! They almost always take that off of the gimmicked tables, so that they break easier and shatter into a bunch of little pieces of particle board. Carmelo Hayes versus Finn Balor on Raw. That's weird. Anyways.
Pretty good match though.
No, worst move, putting Kojima versus CM Punk on first round.
Putting Kojima on the card. Like, I don't know. I really wasn't impressed with him at all.
Yeah, I mean, the middle of the card is fire. It's got to be somewhere at the beginning or the very end.
Well, we can cover that in the next one, which is worst booking.
Hold on, I didn't give him worst move.
I know. I'm just saying, when you talk about card order, that can be in the next one.
I loved Bryan Danielson modifying the stuff he modified. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and agree with Smarks you last round in terms of worst move being letting Don Callis come back out.
Here's my thinking. In the end, I'm happy Will Ospreay won, and he won in the end relatively clean, right?
Yes.
Right. I feel like the Don Callis screwdriver to the head bit in the middle mars the victory a bit in a way that it didn't need to. You know what I would have preferred?
A good cheat.
Oh, either a good cheat or Will Ospreay, even though he was playing the heel,
refusing the cheat,
refusing to use the screwdriver and saying, I'm going to beat him my own way. and then still winning without the screwdriver, right? I think the victory would have felt stronger. It would have felt more real in the end.
That guy's come a long way from us being annoyed with him doing flip-to-you.
I mentioned that on the thing. I said, I remember watching that going, this guy's got a lot of potential if he can learn to stop being a gymnast and start being a wrestler, you know?
Remember
and the same thing
watched
with
the Ricochet
with
match,
Ricochet.
and then we followed it up with the Rey Mysterio. You and I watched them together, same time, and I was like, "Oh man, this guy's gonna be great." Except for, why do we have to do this superhero landing face to face with each other? Like that. Okay, well, that happened. You know, that's all you felt in that moment.
Yeah. Worst booking decision.
Match order. I mean, at the end of the day, you told us titles don't matter. Titles don't matter. We're going to give you our best matches, but we don't know what our best matches are. We're going to give you some legends, and we're going to put those towards the end, but we know that they can't go anymore. Just as a whole match order.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm sorry, but the AEW Championship or the Jungle Boy match for the IGWP Heavyweight Championship, those should have been one of the last matches.
Yeah. I firmly believe that the main event doesn't have to be the World Championship match, but that the World Championship matches should be towards the end of the card.
Yes.
Because they are world champions.
And I don't know in what world you think that Okada and Danielson 1 is going to be better than Omega Ospreay 2.
Mm-hmm. Also, Bryan Danielson flat out said in the media scrum that he was angry that he had to go after Ospreay Kenny Omega. Because
he said that. Yeah,
he said that.
You know that in advance that's going to be.
He's like, why should I go on after? So here's the match order like that I would have done. First of all, I would have taken the CM Punk Kojima match and I would have put that on the kickoff show.
Calm down, not the kickoff show.
Or not on the card at all.
Onto the main card.
Yeah, move
that way. You
can
have two women's cards on the main card.
CM Punk on either the kickoff show or not at all on the show.
Then you could have been really sexist, JLB.
Here's the deal: it was in Toronto.
The Athena match was better.
It was in Toronto. CM Punk is not liked in Toronto.
I feel like he's not going to be liked anywhere else. I think he had his Chicago cheers, and then that's it.
But that's my point is, so he didn't need to be on the card. It wasn't adding sales. It wasn't adding viewers.
It was kind of adding sales. Calm down.
It wasn't adding ticket sales, on the card. Right?
No.
And so you don't even have to have him on the card. You can have him, put him on commentary. Have him be out there, scouting his opponent for the Owen Hart Cup. And then have the Owen Hart Cup for him kick off at Collision, his show. I'm using their quotes, his show on Collision. Right? So I would have taken that show off the card. Maybe put it on the kickoff show, but I don't think so. I say take the kickoff show down to just 3 matches and give each match an additional 3 minutes. Then the matches on the kickoff show are all better, right? Take CM Punk's match off and Athena versus Billy Starks onto it. MJF versus Tanahashi goes up to, let's say, 3rd to last. Sonata versus Jungle Boy goes 2nd to last. You finish with Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega. That's the main event, right? You put the Elite versus Blackpool Combat Club right before it, right? Sting Darby Allin goes down to 2nd match of the night. Orange Cassidy, Zack Sabre Jr., Shibata, and Daniel Garcia kick off the show.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that would have been an awesome match to kick off the show.
Yep. Kick off the show with that, then do Athena versus Billy Starks, then do the Sting, Darby Allin, Naito versus Les Suzuki Gods. Then you could do the Tony Storm, Ruby Soho. Then Bryan Danielson, Kazuchika Okada. then MJF Tanahashi, then Sonata versus Jungle Boy, then the Elite. You could maybe switch those. The Elite, and then Sonata versus Jungle Boy, and then main event be Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega.
Yeah, the only thing I might change about that, and the only reason I would change it is because it leaves you with a cliffhanger ending, would be to put Jungle Boy last. However, it wasn't a better match than Kenny Omega and Ospreay. And I put it last because then you have the turn. That was the only selling of a future event.
Yeah,
which we talked about last night, that they didn't do that with Daniel Bryan's match.
Yeah, I don't think the turn is a big enough news for it to necessarily be the final shot. Like, I think the final shot of Will Ospreay standing there in the ring holding the IWGP US Championship.
Well, then that's the only title changes at the end of the night. That's fine, too.
Mm-hmm. Then you can also have fucking confetti for Will Ospreay. And have it be Canadian colors so that he can look all angry that it's red and white confetti coming down. And you could explain that you were expecting it to be Kenny Omega. You know,
oh, that'd be fantastic.
Loaded.
You have a kayfabe Khan betrayed NJWP moment, but it's kayfabe.
Mm-hmm. So,
well, it was worse that he was already wiping his ass with our flag and picking his nose with it. I'm like, bro, we're part of the same Commonwealth here. What are you doing? We praised your queen for so long. Like, we're teammates here.
Hey, when are they changing your dollars? Charles dollars.
He's been going on.
We do have our own dollars. We just have the queen still there. Maybe we're gonna put the king on it soon, or maybe we're just gonna say fuck it. We'll have our own.
But
God save the king.
Will Ospreay's been going off on social media, and a lot of his promos have been about how rude and mean Canadians are. The Canadians.
Dude plays a great heel. I never thought he'd be a good heel, but he is a very good heel.
So he plays a heel most of the time in New Japan. They just knew when Kenny Omega came over for Wrestle Kingdom that Ospreay would be seen as the hero because he's the one who stayed with New Japan. So Kenny Omega had to play the heel for that. Anyway.
Worked fine. Worked great.
Fine. Moving on to the final worst moment of the night.
Just go ahead and say Don Callis. Just say it. Say it, Smarks.
I don't know if I feel it's the absolute worst moment of the night.
Worst moment of the night was the letdown of the go-home match for the main event.
Yeah, I would say the Brian Okada finish.
That match was no. I would say right before that, the finish to the Sting Darby match, all that. It's just you have a fire match going on, and out of nowhere, you're just like, oh, that's how it ends.
That's how it ends. I guess it's weird.
It was the worst moment.
Was Darby hurt? Was Sammy Guevara hurt? Neither of them played a part in the last 4 minutes of the match.
So deflating. And because it was after the Ospreay Omega match, that deflation may have played into how we felt about the Omega Okada match, or the Okada and Danielson match.
I think that also played into it. I really do think that.
I was instantly deflated, and I got on with you, and I was like, that was not a good inning.
and that also plays into why, and I know hindsight's 2020, right? But that also plays into why I think you would have had to been stupid to not think Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega was going to be potential match of the night. So why not put that last?
Yes.
Any match going after that was going to feel like a letdown, regardless of how it ended.
Now, they did a good go-home match. It was a good go-home match before. But it ended so abruptly, and I don't know.
But
props on this to Minoru Suzuki for going ahead and taking the fall when he knew that made that a bad match. There's no way a guy with that much tenure does not know that this makes this an ugly match.
Yeah,
That's the letdown for me. That moment is the letdown.
I would still argue because I don't think I don't find it fair that you can say because of the letdown of that match is the reason why we were so let down by the ending of the Okada Bryan. I think the Okada Bryan was just weird, and Bryan doing his
Didn't have
alternate.
enough to pick you back up after being deflated like that.
Well, yeah, but I would more blame that on Bryan. If anything, they did what they needed to do because this was a slow burner match to an extent after the crazy Osprey and Omega match. So if anything, this match kind of did what it needed to do so that you can so that the fans could really be hyped and well appreciate the Okada and Bryan match. But that ending, I felt
would
like
say
a lot
the
of
only
fans were like,
enjoyable
what the
part to
fuck?
the Okada and Bryan match was the 5 minutes of submission hold at the end, where he was changing the submission hold over and over and over. That was really enjoying to watch him change that up.
I do think, just speaking of the Okada Danielson match, I wish commentary had been a little bit more hyping going into that match how Okada has only tapped out once before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they
That
would
was
have
a
had to
thing?
know the finish is a tap out.
Even with that, because you could just say Bryan Danielson is a submission master, but he's going against someone who has only tapped out once before in his career. And I don't know,
didn't know.
like that probably doesn't count when he was in Impact Wrestling as Kato.
Yeah, so you could say Okada never tapped out.
No, I'm saying that doesn't include Kato.
Oh,
He might
okay.
have tapped out during Kato, but in his New Japan career as Okada, he's only tapped out once before. And so because I don't think the fans at home truly knew what a big deal Okada tapping out was.
I didn't.
I didn't think he'd tap. I really didn't think he'd tap. And when he did, I was surprised.
Mm-hmm. So,
like, what kind of move is that? He's just taking his arm, he's just pressing his leg onto his arm so his arm could dislocate, or to the point where it's going to dislocate. But I'm like, you should have just did the label lock. That would have been cool. You beat him with your true, well, unless of course they maybe wanted to make a second match out of it. Whatever.
Have you ever dislocated your arm?
I don't believe
It fucking hurts.
I have when I was like a kid, but never as an
adult. Also, side note,
really fucking hurts.
This sold that he couldn't get the label lock. And so he's so inventive that he did something different to get this lock, to get a lock.
Well, I mean, yeah, but then you see him like hit him. You see him when he doesn't get the label lock at first, and he just constantly just bashes him over the head. Like, that's when you could be like, well, now I've knocked you out, I'm gonna get it in. I don't know. I was put off by it, and I felt like the fans didn't know what was. Maybe they were just so.
I love the series. It's the first time I've loved watching Daniel Bryan in terms of the submission expert, and I went, "Wow, he really is a submission expert." It was like calling Bret Hart a submission expert when all he had was the sharpshooter. Then he started doing a couple other ones as submission style moves. They never finished it, but at least then you saw another submission move out of him. And you're like, okay, well, he is a submission expert. Or Taz. Sure, Taz had the Taz mission, and that was how he finished it. But there were lots of other moves in there that made him the submission machine, or Samoa Joe for that matter. You have to have multiple submission maneuvers to be a submission machine.
Mm-hmm. In the end, the move that he finished was a variation on
the label lock,
the Rings of Saturn, really.
Yeah.
Which the label lock is a Rings of Saturn mixed with a crossface. Right. And so he couldn't get the crossface in. So instead, he hooks his foot over and he pulls the other arm back and does a modified Rings of Saturn.
Even more vicious looking. Like, that was the most vicious looking submission I think I've seen in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, vicious looking submission for sure, because that looked like it could really be very, very painful. Yeah. I don't know. I guess it didn't seem like a very good ending for me. Like, I felt like it maybe wasn't over. I I don't know. It was cut short. I feel, but obviously maybe because something to do with his arm. But if Daniel Bryan was competing, for 17 minutes, like you were mentioning, that's quite a while with that arm. So I don't know. Maybe I just overhyped the match, or AEW led me to overhype this match from what I thought it was going to be. I personally don't think it's Daniel Bryan's best match in AEW, and I don't even think it's his best match when comparing his WWE stuff either.
No. I don't think it's his best match in AEW. I think it's better than most of his matches in WWE. But that's because it's a different style. WWE never let him truly be the wrestler he wants to.
The American Dragon. Yep.
Right.
I think by the way, in case you can't see, I do have the final submission up on the screen. So you can see how it is. And he's got both of those arms trapped behind. And you can actually see he's reaching under with his left arm and holding onto his right arm to do it. And the pain that he looks in is probably very, very real.
Yes.
Because that right arm is the one that's got the broken forearm somewhere. He never said specifically whether it was tibia or fibula. Why they didn't just name it the fibia?
That would be radius and ulna in the arm.
Radius and ulna in the front, yeah. But why they didn't just name it the tibia and fibia, right? Or
the leg, you mean?
Tibula and fibula, right? Why they had to give them similar but not quite names? Anyways, that's just something that always makes me angry. Bone names. Dumb bone names.
All right, anybody else have a worse moment? I mean, you've critiqued mine, JLB. What's yours?
I mean, no, I'm going with the ending. I thought I said mine. I'm going with the ending of this match. I really didn't. I really thought it was off, to the point where I don't know. I just
my biggest fault to this match is that there was nothing built afterwards, because there was no title on the line there, because there was no major celebration to be had, other than I beat Okada. Now I think I'm the best in the world.
I thought like the first half of the match was better than the second half, kind of thing. You know what I mean? I guess,
sure.
And I don't know. It just dragged. I don't know. I just maybe wasn't a fan of the match, but then the ending for me was just kind of like, what? Why? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't know. Not a fan. So I'll go with that.
Secondary nominee for worst moment of the night, whoever did Bryan Danielson's hair.
I thought it looked good on him, though. I thought it suited.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Bree did a great job with his braids.
Yep.
Yeah. They've been practicing on Birdie.
They have indeed. Look how well we did.
Listen, as the parent of a 5-year-old daughter, I still don't know how to braid. I've tried. It fucking just falls apart.
I'll teach you, bud. That way you can do your own when it's long again. Or is it still long?
It's still long, and I can't now. There's a part reason that I can't do my own braid, and that's because after my surgery, my rotator cuff surgery, I have a hard time keeping my right arm up.
That makes sense.
For very long. They had to relocate my bicep tendon, and therefore it's entire shoulder muscle holding it up, and it's a pain, literally. Anyways, it's finally time to move on to best moment of the night.
Hidden Blade hitting. That was the moment when it actually hit. I loved it. That Hidden Blade is just a mean-looking move that is entirely safe, but man, it looks vicious.
Which move?
Will Ospreay's Hidden Blade.
Oh, snap. Okay.
It's like a usually diving reverse elbow. Like he comes across and brings the elbow back. I don't know. It always
that's like his that's like his signature, technically, right?
Yeah, it's his finisher, signature,
Second to last finisher. It's a setup.
Yeah, it's a setup.
It's his people's elbow.
Yeah, he uses it often as a finisher, but he then has another move that he is his full finisher. It's kind of like
spear. It's Rock's people's elbow.
Yeah, Or I would say it's his V trigger.
Yeah.
Kenny Omega hits the V trigger. Sometimes he finishes the match with it, but often it's designed to be just a setup for
One winged angel. Or just you to go, oh my God, that looks vicious.
Which brings me to one of my nominees. I don't know if I quite call this best moment, but I do want to talk about how much I love the moment. And that was Ospreay hitting Omega with the one winged angel. And then Omega kicking out
at one.
Instantly at one. Right. I absolutely always love the concept of this move is only a finisher when I do it.
Yes.
Right.
I agree wholeheartedly with that. Everybody does the powerbomb now, but in '95, when Sid Vicious or Diesel did the powerbomb, that was the end of the match.
Mm-hmm.
It's their finishers, and that's it.
The idea of anyone can do this move, but only I do it so good that nobody kicks out. Right.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, years ago, finishers were passed down from teacher to protege, right? So, for instance, Ric Flair's figure 4, right, was taught to him by his teacher, and he's going to teach it to, in his case, I taught it to my daughter, and now it's her move, and she's turned it into figure 8, right? And they were passed down, and it didn't matter who else did it. I have the secret to making it work, right?
Yeah.
And so with this, Kenny Omega, anyone can do the one-winged angel, but Kenny Omega does it in a way that takes people out. And some of it is he only does it usually when he's 100% certain it'll be done, right?
Right.
When he's hit the person with the 18 V triggers and a couple snap suplexes. And the guy's just basically
right. He's done. He's dazed. He's done.
But I don't know if that's
Does anybody pop like Kenny Omega during his like Snapdragon and stuff like that? The moves that look vicious. Does anybody pop like he does, as safely as he does, with such a dangerous move?
The closest I can think of
Benoit with snap suplexes.
Well, no, what I was gonna say is fucking Tony Storm's hip attack.
Yeah. Completely safely does it, and it looks savage every single time.
Every time it looks like she's killing a person. And of course, it's also the first time I've ever seen a hip attack that actually looked like it hurt someone.
Yes.
All right.
Because when Tony Storm hits with the hip attack.
Yeah, she does it with such momentum, though. Like she goes, and then instant zoom, bam.
Yeah, it's not somebody jumped up in the air, did a standing or a in-flight splits, and that was their hip attack. Yeah. Naomi does not deserve better.
Speaking of Naomi, my daughter made me unlock Naomi on WWE 2K Battlegrounds because
your daughter feels the glow.
Well, my daughter like exclusively wants to play with the female wrestlers. That's it. She doesn't care about the male wrestlers.
Well, good.
She's like, unlock the, and we only had enough unlock points to unlock one of the cheaper ones, and Naomi was the choice. Also, surprisingly, WWE 2K Battlegrounds, which came out in 2020, 3 years ago, does not have Alexa Bliss as a playable character.
Odd.
Oh, really?
It's odd. Yeah, it's really odd. It does have Billy Kay and Peyton Royce.
2020. Yeah, they would have already had left. No?
No, they were still there.
They would have been there at the beginning, but eventually leaving.
Side note, they didn't leave, they were let go.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, any other best moments?
I mean, Will Ospreay winning, I think, should be considered one of the best moments of the night. I I think was a big moment, and definitely needs to be talked about.
I would also put Orange Cassidy's finish in his match by the skin of his teeth yet again.
Yeah, he almost pulled a heel kind of finish because he threw the other guy out, and then he went in for the. I think he did a move, and then he went in for the pin again.
Long term, we may see the breakup of Jungle Hook as the best moment, but right now, I am not sold on Jungle Boy as a heel.
I'm curious to see how that does turn out.
I think so. I was talking about this to a coworker today. I think for Jungle Boy's heel turn to work, I think he has to stop being Jungle Boy. I don't think Jungle Boy works as a heel character. And I don't think he can just start saying, call me Jungle Man. Right?
No, I think it'll be just Jack Perry.
I think he has to say, I'm not Jungle Boy, I'm Jack Perry. Right. I think he also has to get rid of the theme song.
For sure.
We're not going to buy him as vicious guy when he comes out to whoa, 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 whoa. So I think that plays into it. We'll
I would
see.
say that has to be established almost immediately on Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think that has to be basically now. And we'll see. I mean, he started off pretty well with I think I shared with the group the tweet where Danhausen tweeted about how dear Ad Hook, Danhausen won't treat you badly like Jungle Jack Jerry did. I won't do like that. And Jungle Boy said, what? Have a great match? Fuck you. But my favorite is Danhausen's. Did you win? Savage. He did not win. Oh, okay. So maybe Alexa Bliss is a playable character, but you have to unlock her in a different way.
I thought I saw her. No, she's just in the boxes there. No, I feel like
she's not on the roster when you fire it up.
No. You have to unlock her through the locker codes, not the locker codes.
She's not in the list of unlock with the with the payables, whatever. She's not. She doesn't show up in that list. So it's got to be something that you unlock through story mode. Yep, how to unlock campaign mode. Okay, so you can get her. You just have to play story mode first.
Okay, I did do the story for a bit.
Also, importantly, a lot of people are angry because of how much unlockables they are. Every character has 3 unlockable versions, 2 additional unlockable attires that cost as much as unlocking the character was. Right. So now, fortunately, almost none so far that I've seen. Do you have to spend money to unlock? Most of them you can unlock as well with experience points. But you have to play a lot to get enough experience points to unlock them. So I will be likely playing.
Did you just get Battlegrounds, or?
Yeah, I bought it at a garage sale over the weekend because my daughter wants to play something with 2 players, and it was another week until AEW came out. So,
okay.
Anyways, other best moments, like I say, Jungle Boy's turn might be considered a best moment down the road, like Fabe said. I don't know. The Elite getting a victory over Blackpool Combat Club. The problem is, I don't think that story's over. I think we're going to get a blood and guts match. Rumors have it.
Eddie's fault.
Yeah. Rumors have it. It's going to be a blood and guts match on the 19th of July, which is just a few weeks from now.
And Boston.
Yeah. And so, but it'll be interesting if Danielson is injured, right? How do they fill out the Blackpool Combat Club for it, for a full-on 5-on-5, blood and guts at this point?
Is this an injury that keeps him from performing too? I mean,
He says out 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh my.
So now it could be, because he says, and I quote, "They think I've got a fracture in my forearm." It could be that they go and they do. What was that?
What happened?
One of my Funkos just suddenly fell down.
Ooh, house is haunted.
No,
it's okay. You ain't afraid of no ghosts.
No, I share a wall with the neighboring house right here, and it's, I think, a bedroom.
Oh yeah.
You get what I'm gonna. I think sometimes that wall gets a little bit bounced on, and therefore these Funko Pops that are already teetering a little bit sometimes go flying.
A lot more things are popping than your Funko Pops. Diggity damn.
Pop, pop, pop.
Show together booty like pop, pop, pop. Wait, no.
Yes. Okay, breakout star of the night. We are going off on a tangent, so let's get back on the track.
Breakout star.
I mean, it's hard to say Will Ospreay because he is already a star. But to American crowds, this might be the breakout moment for him.
I don't know. He's had some pretty fantastic matches in AEW, though.
He has, but this was in AEW another level. And to American fans, this might be the moment that they say, maybe.
Yeah, you can also say the same as for Sonata, though.
Yeah, I just... Not to disparage Jungle Boy Jack Perry, I don't think Sonata had the right opponent to truly show off what he could do. Right?
Ooh, harsh.
Yeah, that is pretty harsh. Jungle Boy can go, man. I don't know.
Jungle Boy can go. He just doesn't have a lot of experience. He doesn't have the weight. Let's use that way, right? We say, to use WWE's name, I think Chad Gable is legitimately one of the best wrestlers on the WWE roster, right? But when a new guy shows up in WWE and beats Chad Gable, it doesn't have the same weight as when they come in and they beat a Finn Balor or a Damian Priest, even. You know what I mean?
Or even a Dolph Ziggler.
Or even a Dolph Ziggler, yeah. Jungle Boy, and this, some of it has to do with his age, some of it has to do with just his length of tenure in AEW. Some of it has to do with his presentation. He's been presented a lot recently as almost a joke, you know. That's the whole reason he had the turn, is because he's tired of being just Jungle Boy. Right? Tired of being in the shadows, right? And so if Sonata had come in and wrestled MJF, who's the current champion, and had the match that he had, even if they said it was IWGP champion versus AEW champion, no titles on the line, this is just for bragging rights, right? MJF ends up losing to Sonata. However, Sonata, I could see Sonata being the breakout star. I just think going against Jungle Boy
doesn't do it for you.
Doesn't do it for me. Doesn't have the weight that it needs to. I think going against Bryan Danielson would have had the weight. I think that could have been a fun match. I think going against Adam Page could have had weight to it. Or a Moxley, or Claudio Castagnoli, you know? I think those are all ones that could have brought some extra weight to it that Jungle Boy just didn't do. Another option that I want to say for a potential breakout star of the night, and again, This is a lot of these are tough to call them breakout stars because they're established in just other areas. Zack Sabre Jr. Because again, to the air quotes casual fan who just watches WWE and AEW, this was their introduction to Zack Sabre Jr. You know, and what he can do, because he could twist people into pretzels. So those are kind of my nominees.
I will rank mine because there were ones that I hadn't heard of. There were ones that I had heard of. Well, I've heard of all of these, but I was more impressed with because of this evening. Number one for me is Willow Nightingale. She continues to impress. Whether or not she put in the time to be the IWGP, the inaugural IWGP Women's Champion, she is an honorable IWGP Women's Champion. Number two on this list for me was probably Sonata. I just haven't seen a lot of him as the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. I also really enjoyed his promos leading up to it. So just anybody can become the champion? Just anybody? Okay, I suppose. Anybody can challenge for it. That's fine.
Well, I mean, it's kind of the point of an open challenge, Sonata.
Well, and I liked Taz's whole like hating on Sonata for calling Jungle Boy a non-worthy opponent, and like anybody can just challenge for it. Oh, okay. Like, I don't think you're on my level. And then Taz was just all like, what do you mean? Like, how dare him? Like, he was just going all off on Sonata for that.
And then last but not least on this list, I'm going to put somebody who I've, again, seen before, but I was more impressed because of their match. And that is Katsura Shibata.
Shibata's a good one. That's a good choice there. I agree.
I think all three of those just really, I don't know, gave us more. Enough more that I went, okay, you're starting to break out. Not necessarily, nobody was like, oh my God, I've never heard of you. It was not how we felt about the Battle Royal that Orange Cassidy came in number 22 when there was only 21 entrants. That one was fire. Like, that was the ultimate and breakout star of the night. It's probably the reason we have this category. But all of those presented themselves as established stars / future stars at the same time. That's where I'm going. Willow Nightingale's my number one, though.
Willow, nice. From what I can remember, I would say I really enjoyed, because I think this is maybe the second match I've watched with Shibata, and just I thought he was fantastic. And even with Sabre Jr., I've seen a few matches with him already, but this dude's like just fantastic. And so those two are the two that really like stood out to me. Maybe it was just due to the same match that they were in, but they were going, they had great chemistry together, at least Shibata and Sabre Jr. So, yeah, I really want to see definitely a lot more. I don't know if Shibata's just pure New Japan though, right? He doesn't,
he's ROH pure.
Oh, he's ROH pure champion. It's true. Okay. So, definitely have to check out some ROH stuff then, because, Shibata is fantastic.
Yes. Shibata is a very good choice. Sorry, I just saw a thing come across. AEW's Fight Forever. It's been confirmed your character can have up to 5 belts and carry them during their ring entrance.
Oh my God.
And so if your character has won the tag championships, the FTW championships, the TNT championship, the world championship, and then I don't know, the international championship, right? You literally can carry all 5 of those to the ring at the same time. And the promotional stills they have Kenny Omega with 1 belt, Kenny Omega with 2 belts, Kenny Omega with 3 belts, Kenny Omega with 4 belts, and then Riho with all 5.
Nice.
Fucking Riho. Anyways, I'm skipping best line because AEW just doesn't have enough talking to really be worth it. So we're moving to best performance of the night.
Can we say anybody than Osprey?
Well, and Omega. I would just put them both
Osprey
together.
licked Omega's blood off of his bicep.
Fucking, I said this last night, but I want to repeat this. We watched a pay-per-view, an AEW pay-per-view in 2023 where Moxley didn't bleed and Osprey and Omega bled like stuck pigs, right?
Yeah,
Was that on your bingo card?
No, definitely most unpredictable moment of the night.
But I think Osprey's a very, very good choice for number 1. In terms of performance, and I'm using the word performance in terms of to perform, you could make an argument for Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, you can.
In the whole, he made a performance of, don't kill my best friend. Oh crap, my best friend's trying to kill me. But I won't let you kill him, even if it costs us the match. Oh, thank God Tomohiro Ishii is here to save our match for us. And then at the end, I still hate you guys. This guy's cool.
Well, no, that's it. And I just felt it was very weird that Moxley ended up actually hitting Kingston because he didn't at first at the beginning. So it was good storytelling, I guess. But Kingston is still confused because he was still pissed that he lost, that he won rather.
Yeah, here's the deal: John Moxley said it in the ring last week. He says, "We're best friends outside of the ring. I love you like a brother, but once you get in the ring here, all bets are off. You are my enemy. And I need you to understand that." And I think the storyline they're telling is that Eddie Kingston doesn't understand that, really. You know?
Well, Moxley didn't at first either, because when Kingston was on the ropes, he didn't even try and hit him. It was Claudio that had to give him a little kick. So I imagine they're going to start up maybe a feud with those two, but I still feel like the blood and guts is going to be a thing first.
Yeah,
I just start up the feud.
I don't think they put Eddie Kingston in the blood and guts because they've told the story that he can't stand the elite.
Right.
And
okay.
Even though he hates Claudio. Now, they could take Claudio out of the blood and guts and put Eddie Kingston versus Claudio as a singles match and the rest of Blackpool Combat Club. But that leaves Blackpool Combat Club really short.
Right.
You know, you put Takeshita in there, that's still only 3. So, anyways, moving on to underhype of the night. Can we say the Osprey versus Kenny Omega match?
Underhype?
Because even though it was for the IWGP World US Championship, I should say, it was overshadowed by Danielson versus Kazuchika Okada. It was overshadowed by MJF versus Tanahashi. In the pre-match, I should say. It was just kind of like, this is happening, you know? And it's potential match of the year candidate, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's an argument for underhype. Like that, we've said that should have been the main event. And I think anyone with half a brain should have known that should have been the main event. Apparently, I'm saying that Tony Khan doesn't have half a brain though.
Well, it's not just Khan involved in these bookings.
For the most part, it is though.
It's
in
not.
the
So they
sense.
said
it has to go through him.
Chris Hero is backstage doing coaching right now, so I'm going to say Chris Hero did it. It's Chris Hero's fault, just for the sake of saying that. I have his autograph somewhere here.
Nice.
Got Chavo's autograph with this month's box.
Oh, did you? Chavito. I'll probably say underhype. I'll say the international championship match.
It's a good argument.
I guess we've seen Orange Cassidy just any match he does, he ends up stealing the show for the most part. But yeah, no, this match was fun, and it wasn't really that. I think they only made the match a week before the show, so very underhyped and fantastic. I would say probably top 3 matches of the pay-per-view. So
okay,
yeah, I'm probably gonna go ahead and agree. I hate doing it because it was from JLB, but that's the underhype of the night.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to do it.
You don't have to do it. You are your own man. You can make your own choices.
OMG moment of the night.
He licked Kenny Omega's blood off his own bicep. He licked another man's blood. I thought it was gross when Brock went. And Cody later on. And all the people who've done this with somebody else's blood. The blood was on the bicep. Camera close up. Also Bryan Danielson's submission.
Yeah. Bryan Danielson's submission, the tap out. Again, I think if the commentary had stressed earlier, this is a man who's only tapped out once in his career. Could have made a big difference on the tap out. I'm going to say OMG moment. It's not directly a wrestling thing. The final countdown.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that.
And yes, they confirmed in the post-show media scrum that was likely just a one-off. That the expense of it was, and to quote Tony Khan, a wrestler's contract.
Right.
And so, but also that he bought the rights to it in perpetuity, which means if this ever goes on to a streaming platform, the final countdown will stay. They won't have to dub a different song over it. So,
right.
And
so that's probably why it was also a wrestler's contract.
Yeah, that's something that he's he's dedicated to doing, because he did it with 50 Cent's
Many Men
for the Gun Club, which even though they could only use it that one time, anytime that it just tells me that he's got his eye on a streaming platform at some point, that he knows how important that is. He's just getting the P's and Q's together to do it right. So,
or maybe the M's, the A's, and the X's.
Mm-hmm. Yes. The
W's
BDs.
and B's.
Best move of the night.
Whew, what do you got to make Ospreay match? That's the question.
He licked his blood off of his bicep.
The rope hung shooting star press, where he hung Kenny Omega on it.
I thought it was just going to be a leg drop.
Yeah, and he did the rope. I don't know if that actually hurt Kenny Omega more than a regular shooting star press would have. But it was kind of crazy. But then to follow it up,
well, you're landing on the hardest part of the ring. I don't know if you guys know this.
Well, but he did the rope hung to the inside, but then he picked him up and he hit him with a Death Valley Driver to the hardest part of the ring. I don't know if you know that. Yeah. Just in case JLB doesn't know it or anyone in the crowd doesn't know it. That's the hardest part of the ring.
The hardest.
Yeah.
The
Absolute hardest.
Not the ring post.
No.
No.
Or the steel steps.
Yep.
Although we did do the DDT on the steel steps as well, which looked pretty brutal.
There were a lot there. The 630 through the table to the outside to a 63-year-old man.
Should count for something, for sure.
Should count for something. It was pretty crazy.
The 700 variations of the label lock. I know JLB doesn't like it, but I've been talking about it all night.
No, I mean, I get what you're saying. Maybe
MJF
I would have been
getting
more
a ring out of his pants because that's more effective than, say, brass knucks or something. I'm so tired of it.
Did they call it a ring? Yeah, it's true. Well, it's not brass knucks, though.
Correct.
Diamond dead ring, so. For some reason, what's coming to me is the face smash that Ospreay did to Omega onto the table. That face smash, for some reason, for me, looked fucking brutal.
You know what's really interesting about that is the announcers waiting until he took the cover off and hit his face onto it between the ring and when it was at an angle on the floor. And that's when apparently Omega was cut. Now, obviously, there was blading involved here. Omega's was not a very deep blade, which was just a smart move on his behalf. But they didn't notice, Omega had already bladed himself. Like, it was done. Like, there was blood on his head. And now's when we noticed, oh, my, he's bleeding.
Yeah, the blood was a bit way too much because right when he did it, like, oh, he's bleeding. And they're like, yeah, okay. So Omega must have just did it right, obviously.
Well, but you could see it on the sidelines. I mean, you could see it before the other hit. And then, oh, my, that one made him bleed. No, he was bleeding before.
But he leaking.
Now he leaking.
I did really, one of the better moments, and I know we've already done best moment, was when Omega stood up the stairs after Ospreay's blood pooled on it, and you could just see it was from the side, and you could just see this pool of blood on there. I was like, oh, snap. I thought that was a really good moment, too, but it wasn't a best move.
There's just such a definitely match of the night, could be match of the year candidate for sure. I don't remember the Wrestle Kingdom match, but I'll definitely have to go back and check that out.
Here's the deal. This one was more spectacle than the Wrestle Kingdom match was. And so it depends on what you like out of a professional wrestling match, whether you like over-the-top spectacle or whether you like more grounded, like technician wrestling back and forth. To go back and forth on that, but yeah, best booking decision of the night.
I really want to say Omega Ospreay. I mean, having that match is probably a best booking decision, but its location was horrible because it so heavily overshadows the rest of the card. I would say, again, I'm not a fan of, what the fudge is his name? The chubby guy.
Eddie Kingston?
Eddie Kingston. But the turmoil of Eddie Kingston in that match, the selling of him in that match, I think probably lands in the best booking.
Oh, that hurt you to say it, didn't it?
Yeah.
I can feel the pain from here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's going to be in the G1, Eddie Kingston. So we'll see how he fares there.
I think you could argue best booking decision was booking the Orange Cassidy, Zack Sabre Jr., Shibata, Daniel Garcia match. But again, just like the Will Ospreay Kenny Omega match, they put it at the wrong part in the card. That's, to me, part of the problem with this is I think the card was just in the wrong order, so every good decision is slightly marred by the bad decision of where they put it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Booking Will Ospreay to win might be the best booking decision. It sets up a star of the future. It also might be Tony Khan playing the long game, knowing Will Ospreay's contract will be up with New Japan in the not too distant future, and putting yourself out there as a viable candidate for, you can come here and have these sorts of matches on the regular basis, and get all the hype of being a US star.
Did you just try to sell him on bleeding out his face on a regular basis?
I don't think he argued against it.
Twice.
It's worked very well for Moxley. And Ric Flair before him.
Well, the fact is,
and Abdullah the Butcher before him.
He's more likely to perform at home working for AEW than he is working with Japan. So if he wants to go back to England and perform in front of his family more often, AEW is the better bet, because he'll at least get that once a year.
Also,
once a year.
His family will be more likely to see his matches in AEW, because AEW airs on TV in
English.
In English, right? Whereas New Japan, you have to still subscribe to the platform and watch it there. Now, you can get the English commentary sometimes.
But isn't he in New Japan Strong?
He comes over here to New Japan Strong occasionally, but New Japan Strong is transient.
AEW developmental.
Well, sort of, but it's like it doesn't have a solid roster. It doesn't have its own belts for the most part. Stars come over from Japan, wrestle for a month or two here, and then go back to Japan, and a different star comes over and wrestles for a while. And then they've got wrestlers that are here in the U.S. dojo doing it, but those are not the stars. Those are the up-and-comers,
Okay.
And so Ospreay coming here full-time is a possibility. But you have to sell him on it. And he likes living in Japan. He likes wrestling the Japanese style. So you have to give him we're going to present you as a big star here. Japan gave you the U.S. title, but I don't know. We might give you a run with the world title here.
That's fair and well deserved too. He can definitely run with the world title.
You can have matches against Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega, and heck, you might even have a match with Sting, the icon Sting, right?
It's Sting.
And the Young Bucks.
Can I just go ahead and say that Sting cannot go against Ospreay?
Well, it wouldn't be a singles match.
Oh, okay.
It would be Darby Allin and Sting versus Ospreay and one of the members of United Empire. Oh, and by the way, I signed your friends United Empire to Ring of Honor, so they'd be over here too.
I love that you put them automatically on Ring of Honor.
Well, they are signed to Ring of Honor.
No, but leave them there if Ospreay is over here.
I mean, I have no problem with them coming to AEW, but they are officially signed to Ring of Honor.
Fair enough.
So, they did wrestle on the kickoff show. Kyle Fletcher, the other member of United Empire, is injured. So then they replaced him with Jeff Cobb and then added TJP in for, I don't know, reasons.
And they were going against the Gates of Agony, I think?
No, Los Ingobernables de Japón.
Right.
Which meant technically United Empire were the American entrants.
Right.
Despite the fact it was a Pacific Islander, a Australian, and TJP.
There was somebody from,
He's from
Austria?
Australia.
Oh. Well then.
I actually didn't know TJP was from Kansas City. Learned something new.
Your life is forever changed, my friend.
Forever. Okay, finally. We're moving to the last category. I'm going to click on it, and then we're all going to say it in unison. Match of the night.
Ospreay
Omega.
I don't even think, like...
For sure.
If
match of the year so far.
If ever there was a perfect time for JLB to have a ridiculous take on something,
it's now.
It would have been hilarious if he had been like Darby Allin, Sting, and Naito versus what?
I'm not that crazy. I know I have some crazy thoughts in my head for most of the time.
He would have said Orange Cassidy, Zack Sabre Jr., Shibata, and Daniel Garcia.
I mean, that's top 3.
It is top. Might be number 2.
Yeah, could be number 2.
I think the 10-man tag is
maybe 3.
Probably number 3. I think.
I don't know. I remember the Jungle Boy match being okay.
I do have to say, in fairness, I got to see about 2/3 of the match, and then my daughter started throwing a fit because she wanted to play the WWE game, so I had to calm her down. And when I came back, the match was over, and Jungle Boy had turned. So I didn't see the finish of it, but the 2/3 of the match that I did see was fine. It wasn't a bad match. I'm not saying it, but it was a 2.5 to 3 star match in my book. Maybe 3.5 if the ending was lights out that I didn't get to see. So we'll probably find out in a couple days what Mr. Meltzer gives the
yep, that's fair.
Show, and so that'll be interesting to see. If I were to bet, I would say Ospreay versus Omega gets at least 5 stars, maybe not 6. Because we know Meltzer, I would bet Bryan Danielson versus Okada gets higher stars than DA Fabe thinks it deserves. But I
think the finish of it's great.
The finish of it is great. I thought, like I said, to me that match was a slow burn match.
Unlike somebody else.
I don't know what to tell you. I just don't appreciate good wrestling, I guess. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. First half was great, and that was with the technical wrestling side too. Then they went outside. That was fun. All that. They gave me a little mix of everything, and then it just kind of slowed down for me. And yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. I don't know. I was overhyped by it, and I felt like I was going to get so much more, and I didn't. So maybe if I would have known about that whole submission thing, of him only being submitted once out of his whole career, at least in New Japan, that maybe would have added a little extra thing for me. Like, oh my God, he's not going to submit. He's, you know what I mean? But
I think that plays into it. I think, again, I just have this feeling, and maybe they'll prove me wrong, but this gut feeling that this is the first in what was planned to be a series of matches, and maybe we don't get them with the broken arm. I just think, like, if I were AEW, I'd book this match as a slow burn, then I'd book a rematch for All In at Wembley Stadium, that turns into a barn burner of a match, and then potentially hot shot a third match at All Out a week later, to finally end it for good.
I would love to see. So All In's what, a month out now?
A little over a month. It's
September,
August something.
August, yeah,
Late August.
So
well, one of them's September 3rd, so the other one's a week before.
Yeah, All In is scheduled for August 27th, and then All Out, like you said, is September 3rd. So a week later.
To do what I would love to see, you'll either have to put gold on Omega, singles gold on Omega before Wembley, or you'll have to put singles gold or take the singles gold off of Ospreay, and I don't think you can do either very easily. That said, I would love to see that third match at Wembley, in Ospreay's home turf, be an Iron Man match. A 1 hour Iron Man match. And it can end in a tie. I'm absolutely fine with it ending in a tie, that rubber match.
Yeah. Now, in fairness, as of right now, according to Will Ospreay, he is not officially booked for All In. And Tony Khan did not refute that. But he did say, quote, "I'm going to be there one way or another."
Yeah, whether I'm a fan or a performer.
Whether I'm a fan or a performer.
Right. That is home.
And so, if I said this when they first announced All In, if you're going to be doing a show in England, in Wembley Stadium, you book Will Ospreay.
Yeah, for sure. It's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you?
It makes absolutely no sense not to. Now, you know what would also probably throw everyone into an absolute, and then this is me going into speculative fantasy booking here, but do you know what would absolutely blow the roof off that stadium? Someone standing in the ring. Let's choose a AEW wrestler that's a big name, standing in the ring, maybe saying that his match got canceled. He was supposed to have a match against someone, and it got canceled. But he came all the way to England. He wants a match. Let's say Hangman Page.
You're basically treating this like it's John Cena Undertaker.
Yeah.
Basically, he's there. He's just like, I don't have a match, and Ospreay shows up.
Well, the Ospreay is one of them, but I'm saying Ospreay. Let's say Ospreay's booked. If Tony Khan is smart, he books Ospreay. This is the other thing I would book for, and this is me fantasy booking, and there's speculation here, and there's a lot of reasons this might not happen. But if you were Tony Khan and you could make this work, right? You have Hangman Page standing in the middle of the ring. You could also have it be Jon Moxley, either or, standing in the ring saying, "I was supposed to have a match against insert AEW wrestler, but he couldn't make it. he got injured or sick or whatever. But I came all the way to this shithole England, this shithole Great Britain. That's why John Moxley would be a good idea for it, because he can get away with just being the heel.
Dick.
The ultimate douche.
He's currently a heel.
Yeah. And so I'm not leaving here until I kick someone's ass. And then bagpipe music hits. Drew's contract is reportedly
Oh
up
my God,
very soon.
That would be fucking epic.
Think how the roof would blow off.
For sure.
Right. Drew McIntyre walks out in Britain.
Drew Galloway.
Yeah, he'd be Drew Galloway there. Yeah.
Drew Galloway to AEW confirmed. No.
Now, reports have it that he's still working with WWE to try to secure a new contract, but that his contract will be up soon. Whether it's up in time, I don't know.
And also confirmed.
Because he came back to WWE in 2017. If he signed a 4-year contract there, it would have been up in 2021. If he extended it another 4 years, then it wouldn't be up till next year. But if you only extended it 3 years, it could be up in time. He was officially drafted to Raw at the draft, but he hasn't been seen
at all. Yeah, it's true.
Oh, since then. And reports have it that he's been working on trying to secure a new contract. He last competed at WrestleMania 39. I'm just trying to see. Read this thing here. Back in April, McIntyre blacked out his Twitter page and removed WWE references. WWE removed McIntyre from promotional material for Money in the Bank, which is in London, by the way. So, he also just recently became a U.S. citizen, by the way.
Oh, nice.
So, but he's still, as of right now, with the WWE. But
imagine, WWE doesn't put your contract together in time.
Mm-hmm.
And you just go ahead and go, one-off wouldn't be so bad back home.
Yeah, if I'm out of WWE, even if we're still working on a potential contract, right? If I'm temporarily a free agent, go off, do a one-off, show the bosses why you're worth what you're asking for, right?
Well, yeah, he makes money for every. This is Razor and Diesel leaving, Diesel leaving.
But again, I don't know if his contract would be up in time, and I don't know
financially for all wrestlers.
Yeah, I don't know if it'd be up in time. I'm just wild fantasy booking it, but
that's tomorrow night.
It would be bonkers. But anyways, we've all done match of the night. We gone through the entire pay-per-view. It was a good pay-per-view. I don't think it was pay-per-view of the year, by any means. Some, like I said at the beginning, the reviewers that I've seen rating it, some of them were in that category for it, and I think they're a little nuts. I think Double or Nothing was really good.
I think WrestleMania was really good.
I think WrestleMania was really good.
Other than the wrong people won.
Yeah. And so I don't know, but it still was a good pay-per-view. I would give it a solid A overall.
Very much so.
You know,
I just think Double or Nothing was better.
I think again, my critiques of it are match order. I think the match order was off. You know, I think starting off with MJF versus Tanahashi, aside from it being for the AEW World Title and starting off the night with it, which I think sends a bad message, it also wasn't high energy enough. I think that first match of the actual card has to be fire. And I think the best one for that would have been Orange Cassidy versus Zack Sabre Jr. versus Shibata versus Daniel Garcia. Right, start off with an absolute barn burner of a match.
By the way, when did Daniel Garcia start doing his little taunt there?
His dance thing, he started doing it a couple months ago, but
did he?
It's become more and more frequent now.
Okay.
I think he really started leaning into it when he had a singles match against Orange Cassidy. And at that match, Orange Cassidy did his hands in the pockets thing, and Daniel Garcia then did the dance back.
Okay.
And I'm trying to find when that was. Dynamite number 188 in May 10th, so a little over a month ago, month and a half.
Okay.
And then, you know, he's been on a bit of a losing streak, so I don't know how he jumps out there and is like, I deserve a shot at the Pure Rules Championship. I mean, in fairness, Pure Rules are Ring of Honor, and he did win some in Ring of Honor, but he lost to Orange Cassidy. He lost to Roderick Strong. He lost to Dax Harwood. He's been in multi-man matches that he won, but then in Ring of Honor, he beat DKC and he beat Rocky Romero in Pure Rules one. So,
who did Garcia?
Garcia.
Okay. Yeah, I really got to start trying to watch ROH.
It's just we've said this before.
Just
it's
so
tough
much
to justify spending $10 a month to get a television show, but not the pay-per-views.
Right.
Those you still have to pay extra for.
Oh no, I'd definitely be getting it illegally though. Yeah, for sure.
That's why it's just so tough to justify it. You know, like,
Trudeau's coming after you for that.
Trudeau has other things to worry about.
True that.
True that.
Anyways, but we gave you our rundown of the show. Overall, solid pay-per-view. Worth watching. Especially most of the latter half. You know, that Ospreay Omega match is a must-watch, I think, for anyone. If you like professional
if you're going to watch one match, that is the match to watch. If you're going to watch another one, you watch the International Championship.
Yep. If you're going to watch a third one, the 10-man tag.
10-man tag. Yeah.
If you're going to watch the 17th one.
You're going back to
the pre-show now.
Double or Nothing. There were only 14 total matches on this one, so you have to go back to...
Would you be mad if somebody sent you back to watch more Double or Nothing?
No, I really wouldn't. No, you're right.
I'm pretty sure there was a few Double or Nothing matches that were better than some of these on Forbidden Door. So,
well, let's look here.
Oh boy, I opened up a can of worms.
Anarchy in the Arena match.
That was better than the 10-man, I would say.
I don't know if I'd say it was better than the 10-man, but it's close. MJF versus Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, and Jungle Boy.
Oh, that was a fantastic match. That was maybe better than the international match.
That's up there. That's definitely up there. House of Black versus The Acclaimed was pretty good.
The Acclaimed. By the way, that promo on Rampage, I loved it.
I think it was on Collision. No, was it Rampage or
Was it
Collision?
It
I don't
was
know.
one of the weekend shows. There's
That's
so
fair.
much now. So much now. Anyway, with Bowens, I know you got a thing for me.
And you hear the fans chant, "He is gay. He is gay." I was
just-
like, "Oh my god." And Bowens even commented on that, and he's like, "Oh, if you would have told me when I first started my career that those chants would be happening in a really like positive way," and I'm like, I would be dreaming." But so he was really grateful for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, apparently that was. I will be giving some credit. Apparently that was QT's idea.
Oh, okay.
But he did, of course, run it past Bowens.
Obviously, yeah.
You know, he said, "I've got this idea of having this happen. Are you okay with it?" And Bowens was like, "Sure."
Well, everybody knows. I mean, that makes it so much fun because we all. It's not like it wasn't the coming out moment.
Yeah,
right.
That's it. We all knew. Apparently, except for what's her face.
Yeah,
I don't even know that character.
I didn't even know What's Her Face was an actual singer. Like that was the thing. I was like, oh. At first, I was confused at who this person was because I totally didn't remember it was QT's person. But yeah, no, it was a fun segment.
It was gold. It was so great.
And she can drop some bars too. The Acclaim might have not liked the rap, but I thought it was pretty decent. Apparently, I'm the only one. Carry on.
Oh,
I don't know. She was fine, but I think it's like.
I wish I was Anthony Bowens without the gay.
Yeah,
girl. Right.
I just don't like. She comes along and they just suddenly show her in the QTV things, and then now she's suddenly she came along really fast without having any in-ring experience as far as I know.
Right.
So I'm a little, I don't know. She's apparently won 2 matches. I don't remember when she wrestled. So.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, no, Double or Nothing was pretty a pretty decent pay-per-view as well.
But on that note, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. Make sure, put this in the thing. Make sure to check all the links in the doobly-doos. We've got our Patreon, we got our merch store, we got socials, all of those links in the doobly-doos there. A great way to support us is the merch stores. We got 2 of them because we're weird like that. We got the Stream Elements one and then the Spreadshirt one. So you can get all sorts of cool merch. Support us that way. You can also support us by
no. I'm asking for a scissor, damn it.
Oh, well.
Okay, I gotta go.
Oh shit, my bad. Okay, sorry.
Apparently we've got no swearing.
Beard love.
Oh,
Beard
right
love.
at the end.
Beard love. Beard love.
Oh, now I'm sad.
My little tiny
Hold on, I'll just get closer. There we go. Let's do it.
beard love to all the crowd.
GLB style.
Anyways, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. If you're an Amazon Prime member, you can subscribe for free on twitch.tv/RawandOrderWBU, where you can then get no ads during the show, which is great. Extra emotes that you can do in the chat, and our undying love. Well, it's dying if you ever stop subscribing.
Yeah.
Right, then it dies.
Our unconditional love, so long as you meet this one condition.
That's one condition. It's conditional love.
It's conditional love.
Yes.
I mean, you can act like some of our worst actors ever, but if you're subscribed, we won't boot you.
Yes.
That's a perk.
Just looking at you, Necro.
Oh, Jesus.
Necro ain't coming around here no more.
Oh, it's because he didn't sub.
Hit the road, Necro. Don't you
I
come
didn't
back
block
no
him. He's
more.
scared. He don't want this smoke.
You technically did block him.
Not on here. I blocked
Not on
him
here.
on Twitter. He can come on here all he wants.
He's waiting for his revenge.
Yeah. In fact, he's still. I noticed this the other day. I haven't gone to modify the Twitch page recently, but if you go to our channel and you scroll down on the about page, what's going on? Shield mode shortcut. I don't want that. Okay. It still lists him as a
follower.
No, it's a suggested page.
Oh wow! Look at you go.
If you want to follow us, consider following. You're also as a suggested page.
Yeah, you are for me too.
So it's like, hey,
I'll be more active once AEW comes out.
My wife has told me that she's thinking of picking that game up for me on Thursday.
AE.
And
Nice. Yeah. AE dubs. AE dubs.
You know, RJ City hasn't wrestled a match since October of last year.
That's because he's too busy interviewing.
I mean,
or in Wednesday night's instances, turning a bingo dial.
And then pulling two things out that they don't show to us because, let's be honest, they obviously didn't say anything. You know?
Yes.
It's like, this first one is going to say Adam Cole, and the second one's going to say MJF. Just pretend that's what they say. Oh. What?
Ooh, look, I'm RJ City.
Or he was out there on Forbidden Door.
It was on the pre-show.
On the pre-show with Renee Paquette wearing her Canadian tuxedo.
Wasn't it pink?
Nope.
It was red and white and red.
No, it was a Canadian tuxedo. You know what a Canadian tuxedo is, right?
I should.
It's all denim.
Okay, fine. That's a fair statement. Denim. Denim, denim, denim.
Denim, denim,
Denim, denim, denim.
Denim, denim, denim. Denim, 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 denim. Anyways, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. As I said, you can view the replays of this. They stay up on twitch.tv/Raw and Order WBU for a few days. But after that, they are on our YouTube page. So you can watch them over there. Give us a subscribe over there as well. That way you don't miss out no matter where they go. So fun things there. Squash Donkey just sent an emote.
Ooh.
Thumbs up to you.
Boom, buddy. Thank you for coming and always appreciate the support. The bomb diggity.
Yep, we do. I believe Squash Donkey was the benefactor of a round of gifted subs last month. I think a lot of those subs are rolling off though. So
I'd sure love to see some people renew.
It would be nice if some people renew.
Or if Big JC wanted to spend the money again to give him free ones. That's cool.
Knock. Here's hoping. Anyways, but on that note, we're going to go ahead and close the book. You can follow me on all the social medias. It's at Raw and Order WBU, just like it says right there. That's on Twitch. That's on Twitter. That's on YouTube. That's on TikTok. That's on Instagram. You can use that to find me on Facebook. Check me out there. You can follow DA Fabe at
DA Vincent K. Fabe on Twitter only. Here, I'll do the finger point of death.
Finger point the wrong way first.
Yeah. It has to happen every single time. Right there.
And then you can follow JLB at...
You can follow me at twitch.tv/JLBTLC25, where this Wednesday, not Thursday, because I pre-ordered it, so I'll get it a day early. This Wednesday, you can watch me play a little AEW Fight Forever, because it is going to be great, grand, and fan-freaking-tastic. And I'm excited, so join me there for that. Otherwise, if you want to see me on Twitter,
JLB420 is on Twitter, where I talk about random stuff. So feel free to message me there.
I'm gonna have to get Xbox Live Gold, aren't
I? Well, I did get it on PS5, so you don't necessarily have to, but I might go get it on Xbox to play with you.
I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll try it out.
Some games give you all sorts of crap if you don't have Xbox Live Gold. I'm an antisocial gamer. I don't want to play with other people.
No, that's fair. But I would love to kick your ass in AEW. That'd be hilarious.
It's a fair statement to just say, hey, I'm not playing with other people. Like, we talked about this the other night. There should just be a gaming console that's just a gaming console again.
Yeah, I just, like, I play my games to get away from other people. I deal with people every day. Sometimes I want to not deal with people. I also have been told I suck by many 13-year-olds, and I don't want that to happen when I'm just trying to play a video game, man.
That's fair. That's why sometimes I don't want to stream. I'm like, man, I'm just kind of relaxed. I'm not going to be a hardcore person trying to finish this level in like 5 minutes.
I've been replaying Fallout 3 off stream the past couple weeks and loving it because I don't have to deal with people and I get to just sneak around and shoot people in the head.
That's it.
Sounds a little sociopathic, but that's okay, bud.
Just a little.
Just
not trying hard enough. But on that note, we're going to go ahead and close the book. Thanks to everyone who joined us, Squash, and anyone else who is lurking behind. Thank you for joining us. We will see you tomorrow when we have our wrestling game night. Maybe JLB will join us for that too.
We'll see.
Are we going to start rolling early?
I don't know.
I mean, let's not make any commitments tonight, but
I don't know.
be watching for the notifications.
But on that note, we're going to close the book. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you soon.
Deuces.
Bye-bye.